For years, the world has known him simply as Tyrus, the towering television personality with a booming laugh, sharp one-liners, and an unmistakable presence on Fox News. But recently,
welcome to the show, everyone. We're here live at the event, bringing you all the excitement and
caught him
updates.
Stepping out alongside a woman many didn't even realize was his wife, and the reaction was immediate. Who is she? Where did she come from? And why did their story feel so different from what people assumed? Timothy Murdoch, known publicly as Tyrus, was born in Boston on February 21, 1973. To understand who he became, it's necessary to understand the world he entered. His parents were barely more than children themselves. His mother was just 15. His father 19, and the home they created was built on fear rather than safety. Violence was a daily reality. His father abused his mother, and before long that violence reached him as well. One beating was so severe it left permanent swelling in his eye. That moment,
this rain can't dampen our spirits tonight.
Not with you here. Let's make the most of it.
Years were heavy and dangerous. Tyrus was the oldest child in what was at the time an illegal biracial marriage. The abuse was constant. And one incident was so extreme that his father attempted to throw him out of a high-rise window. Escaping that environment did not bring immediate safety. When his mother returned to her family home, she was told she could stay, but her sons could not because their father was
Listen,
black.
you have to understand the grind. It's not
Tyrus'
just about
brother
showing
were
up,
placed
it's
into
about
foster
pushing
care.
through
The separation
every single
hurt
day.
deeply. As a child, he became obsessed with the idea that changing his skin color was the only way he would ever be welcomed home again. That pain stayed with him. Eventually, the brothers reunited with their mother in Los Angeles. She worked relentlessly, sometimes up to 80 hours a week, doing whatever she could to survive. That meant constant moves, never staying anywhere long, enough to feel settled. Stability never had the chance to grow. Then another source of
You
violence
can
entered.
see the difference, man.
His
You
stepfather
can
was
see
volatile,
it.
and one attack left Tyrus without his front teeth at just 13 years old. By 16, he had reached his limit. After fighting back one final time, he packed his belongings into a trash bag and walked away for good. He drifted between friends, coaches, and wherever he could find shelter. Some nights he slept hidden inside school locker rooms. He didn't ask for help, he endured. The one constant in his life was football. It became his anchor, giving him structure when nothing else did. The field offered discipline, mentorship, and a sense of belonging. Nothing was given. Everything had to be earned. That lesson changed his life. Football didn't just give him a futurette, gave him a way out and a reason to survive. After high school, Murdoch took the next step at Antelope Valley College in California. On the field, he was impossible to miss. He dominated as an offensive lineman, earned all-conference honors, and became known for his size and raw physical style of play. That presence caught the attention of coaches from the University of Nebraska at Kearney. Though hesitant at first about a Division II program once he arrived,
So, what brings you all out here tonight?
We're just here to enjoy the festivities.
Began as a backup plan, became one of the most important decisions of his life. Murdoch spent 2 seasons with the Lopers, anchoring a massive offensive line that averaged over 300 pounds per player. The 1994 team finished 8-3, and a hard-fought 13-12 win over Nebraska Omaha remained etched in his memory. More important than wins, however, were the relationships. Coaches like Claire Boroff, Daryl Morris, and Scott Hoffman became true
the NWA
mentors,
Championship.
teaching him accountability, discipline, and the importance of standing by his word. For the first time, he felt shaped rather than merely trained.
Welcome
After
to the
college,
show,
he chased the
everyone.
dream.
We're here
He played
live at
arena
the event,
football,
bringing you
attended
all the
NFL
excitement and
tryouts,
updates.
Pushed as far as his body would allow. At the same time, he made sure to finish his education. Earning a degree in physical education in 1998, he couldn't afford to attend his own graduation ceremony. But pride kept him from asking for help, even when help was available. And injuries eventually closed the door on football. He shifted into survival mode, working as a substitute teacher by day and a nightclub bouncer by night. At one point, he even worked security as a bodyguard for Snoop Dogg. Then, in a strange twist, everything changed. While breaking up a fight in a club, Murdoch handled the situation with calm control and humor, neutralizing 2 men at once while joking through it. A professional wrestler in the
this rain can't dampen our spirits tonight.
Not with you here. Let's make the most of it.
By 2006, he debuted in WWE as Brodus Clay. In 2014, he moved to Impact Wrestling and became Tyrus, the name that would define the next chapter of his career. From there, his life took an unexpected detour into media. What started as playful online banter with Greg Gutfeld turned into an invitation to Fox News.
Listen, you have to understand the grind. It's not just about showing up, it's about pushing through every single day.
His life story made him an easy fit. Between 2018 and 2019, he co-hosted UnPC on Fox Nation. Then suddenly he disappeared. In April 2019, viewers noticed Tyrus was gone from UnPC without explanation. Tom Shellew stepped in alongside Britt McHenry, and the network remained silent. That calm didn't last. In June, reporting from the Daily Beast revealed that his exit followed a formal complaint filed by McHenry.
You can see the difference, man. You can see it.
Became the beginning of a public legal battle. McHenry later filed a lawsuit against Fox News, alleging unwanted messages in retaliation after rejecting advances. He claimed the workplace became hostile, describing erratic behavior, inappropriate communications, and emotional distress. Fox News commissioned two independent investigations and stated that neither substantiated her claims. The way we're separated professionally. Eventually, Fox News settled the lawsuit in July 2021 without admitting wrongdoing. The terms were undisclosed, and Murdoch's legal team maintained his innocence throughout. As the legal drama faded, a quieter story continued behind the scenes. In January 2024,
so what brings you all out here tonight?
Oh, we're just here to enjoy the festivities.
Began in the fall of 2014 during an ordinary moment on the streets of New Jersey, no spotlight. No rush, just coffee dates that slowly turned into something lasting. Friends often assumed they were already married, and the couple rarely corrected them. Titles mattered less than the life they were building in April 2020. He proposed with a deep green emerald ring chosen for individuality rather than tradition. They remained engaged for several years, focusing on planning a future instead of rushing the ceremony.
The NWA Championship.
That future eventually led them to a farm property in northern New Jersey, where they settled into married life in January 2024 with the same grounded approach.
Welcome to the show, everyone. We're here live at the event, bringing you all the excitement and updates.
A longtime fitness professional, she built a successful wellness business after losing 150 pounds herself. Her approach to health became even more personal when her son was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, inspiring her to create portion-controlled meals that later turned into a thriving company. At home, the Murdochs manage a blended family, including children from previous relationships and what they jokingly call the Tyrus Zoo, filled with exotic animals. Though Ingrid never considered herself an animal lover, she brought order and structure to the chaos, transforming the household into a balanced system through public scrutiny. Legal battles and personal healing, their story has remained consistent. Rushing, no shortcuts, no spectacle.
You know, this rain can't dampen our spirits tonight.
Not with you here. Let's make the most of it.
As the years moved forward, Murdoch's public image continued to evolve, shaped as much by his resilience as by controversy. On television, he remained the same imposing yet approachable figure, quick with humor, grounded in lived experience. And unafraid to speak openly about hardship on Gutfeld and other appearances on Fox News, he often leaned into self-deprecating jokes.
Listen, you have to understand the grind. It's not just about showing up, it's about pushing through every single day.
Rarely understood how much of his commentary was informed by years of instability, rejection, and survival away from the cameras. Life slowed down in ways Murdoch had never experienced before. The move to rural New Jersey represented more than a change of scenery. It was the first time he had ever intentionally chosen quiet. After decades of noise, crowds, locker rooms, arenas, studios, he wanted space. Space to think, to breathe, and to be present.
You can see the difference, man. You can see it.
Honest. Animals needed care every day. The land required attention. There were no shortcuts, no applause, and no instant gratification. That rhythm appealed to him. Ingrid became the stabilizing force that allowed that life to function. Friends close to the couple have said that her role went far beyond emotional support. She became the organizer, the planner, the problem solver. Where Murdoch had spent most of his life reacting to chaos, Ingrid brought systems and intention. Schedules were created. Responsibilities were divided. Oh, the household ran less on impulse and more on structure. For someone who grew up without predictability, that structure was quietly transformative. Murdoch has spoken candidly about how much that shift mattered. For the first time, he wasn't constantly bracing for what might go wrong next. It wasn't. waiting for the other shoe to drop. The steadiness of their partnership allowed him to soften in ways he never had before. People who knew him earlier in his career noticed the change. He was still blunt, still opinionated.
So, what
still
brings
imposing,
you
but calmer,
all out
less
here
defensive,
tonight?
less
Oh, we're
reactive.
just here to enjoy the
That calm didn't come
festivities.
easily. The aftermath of the lawsuit years lingered longer than headlines suggested. Even after the settlement, the emotional weight remained. Murdoch understood that for many people, allegations, regardless of outcome, if a permanent shadow. He also understood that defending himself publicly would only keep the story alive. Instead, he chose silence. He focused on work, family, and health. Ingrid later alluded to that period as one of the most difficult times they had faced together, describing it as exhausting and isolating. During that time, Murdoch leaned heavily into routine. Training, farm work, and time with his children became
Welcome to
anchored.
the show, everyone.
Wrestling appearances
We're here
slowed.
live at the
Media
event,
commitments
bringing
were
you
more
all the
selective.
excitement and
The goal was no
updates.
longer constant visibility, it was sustainability. That shift reflected a deeper change in priorities. For most of his life, success had meant surviving. His children saw that change up close. Murdoch has admitted that he didn't always know how to be present early on, shaped as he was by instability and absence. But the later years gave him a second chance. He became more intentional as a parent, more engaged in daily life, rather than just providing from a distance. Ingrid's influence played a major role in that evolution. She pushed for balance, for boundaries, and for moments that weren't shared online or with audiences, professionally. Murdoch remained active but measured. He continued appearing on Fox programming, contributed commentary.
You know, this rain can't dampen our spirits tonight.
Not with you here. Let's make the most of it.
Earlier years. His presence on Gutfeld remained popular, in part because audiences sensed authenticity. He didn't present himself as polished or perfect. He talked openly about mistakes, pain, and growth. That honesty resonated with viewers who saw parts of their own struggles reflected in his story. There was also a noticeable shift in how he spoke
Listen,
about
you have to
masculinity.
understand the grind.
Once
It's not just
defined
about
by
showing
physical
up, it's about
dominance and
pushing
toughness,
through every
his
single
definition
day.
expanded to include accountability, emotional control, and responsibility. He talked about learning when to walk away, when to listen, and when strength meant restraint rather than force. Those insights didn't come from theory, they came from lived experience. Often learned the hard way, Ingrid's business continued to grow alongside their personal life. What began as a solution for her son's health became a scalable operation, built on consistency and realism rather than quick fixes.
You can
She was
see the
transparent about
difference,
learning
man.
curve, about
You
making
can
mistakes,
see it.
and about building something without a traditional blueprint. That transparency mirrored Murdoch's own journey. Neither of them came from stability or privilege. Both learned by doing. The household itself remained anything but quiet. The animals multiplied, the routines evolved. The children grew older and more independent. Yet the chaos felt different now. It was chosen, not imposed. It was managed, rather than endured. Ingrid often joked that she ran the home like a small company, and Murdoch didn't disagree. He trusted her leadership completely, something he had struggled to do earlier in life with anyone. That trust marked one of the most significant changes in him. For a man whose early years were defined by betrayal, abandonment, and danger, trusting another person fully was not instinctive. It had to be built slowly, tested repeatedly, and reinforced through action. Ingrid earned that trust not through grand gestures, but through consistency, showing up every day, solving problems, and standing firm when things were hard. As time passed, public curiosity about their marriage only
So,
increased.
what brings you
Fans were surprised
all
not
out
just
here
by
tonight?
Ingrid's identity,
Oh, we're just here
but
to
by the
enjoy the
nature of their
festivities.
relationship. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't performative. It didn't rely on constant validation. That understated approach felt out of step with celebrity culture. And that was precisely the point. Murdoch had spent most of his life being watched, judged, and scrutinized. What he wanted now was something that belonged only to him and his family. Looking back, his life reads less like a straight path and more like a series of narrow escapes. Each stage, foster
This is
care,
what it's all
homelessness,
about.
football,
The
injury,
NWA
wrestling, commit.
Championship.
Have easily ended differently? None of it was guaranteed. None of it was smooth. The success that eventually came wasn't the result of one big break, but of enduring
Welcome
long
to the
enough
show,
recognize
everyone.
opportunity
We're
when it
here
appeared.
live at the event, bringing
What
you all the
ultimately sets
excitement and updates.
Murdoch's story apart is not fame or controversy, but survival followed by intention. He didn't just escape his past, he actively built a future that directed to it. Where there was once instability, he created routine. Where there was violence, he chose restraint. Where there was abandonment, he prioritized presence. Marriage to Ingrid didn't rewrite his history, but it gave that history context. It showed that healing didn't require erasing the past, only refusing to let it define the future. Together, they built a life that reflected lessons learned rather than wounds reopened. No rushing, no shortcuts. Just steady, deliberate progress. And for a man who once slept in locker rooms and carried his life in a trash bag, that quiet consistency may be the greatest.
You know, this rain can't dampen our spirits tonight.
Not with you here. Let's make the most of it.
The contrast between where he started and where he ended up became impossible to ignore. The boy who once believed his skin color made him unlovable had grown into a man who no longer measured his worth through acceptance from others. That shift didn't happen overnight. It came from years of hard lessons, failed relationships, broken systems, and moments where quitting would have been easier than continuing. What changed was not.
Listen, you have to understand that grind. It's not just about showing up, it's about pushing through every single day.
But stability taught him responsibility. For much of his life, his instincts were shaped by threat. Read the room, prepare for impact, protect yourself first. Those instincts helped him endure childhood abuse, foster care, and homelessness. But they were less useful in a healthy home. Learning how to relax without feeling vulnerable took time. Learning that conflict didn't always lead to violence took even longer. Marriage forced those lessons into the open.
You can see the difference, man. You can see it.
Size never could. She expected communication, consistency, and emotional follow-through. There was no room for disappearing, shutting down, or masking stress with humor. When problems surfaced, they were addressed, not avoided. Accountability wasn't framed as control. It was framed as partnership. For someone who grew up without models of healthy relationships, it was unfamiliar territory. But it was. Also, grounding the farm became a living metaphor for that growth. Animals responded to routine. Crops responded to care. Chaos appeared quickly when systems broke down. Murdoch found comfort in that honesty. The work rewarded effort, not image. There was no pretending on the land. If something failed, it was visible. If something thrived, it was earned. That clarity was refreshing after years in industries driven by perception and controversy. Murdoch remained cautious. He didn't rewrite history or attempt to rehabilitate his image through grand statements. Instead, he let time and consistency do the work. He showed up. He stayed employed. He avoided spectacle. And asked about the past, he kept his answers measured and brief.
So, what brings you all out here tonight?
Oh, we're just here to enjoy the
festivities. That some
festivities.
narratives could never be fully corrected, only outlived. That approach extended to social media. While Ingrid occasionally shared reflections about family and resilience, Murdoch largely stayed focused on work-related content. He wasn't interested in convincing skeptics or feeding outrage. He had lived too long in crisis mode to waste energy on battles that didn't move his life forward. The metric had changed. Peace mattered more than being right. Privacy mattered more than applause.
This is
Inside
what
the
it's
home,
all
however,
about. The
conversation was
NWA
constant.
Championship.
The children asked questions. They noticed headlines. They felt tension even when adults tried to shield them from it. Murdoch didn't pretend those moments didn't exist.
Welcome to the show, everyone. We're here live at the event, bringing you all the excitement and updates.
Consequences in that character is defined by how you respond when things go wrong. Those conversations mattered deeply to him. He wanted his children to inherit tools, not trauma. Ingrid's leadership within the household became even more visible during these years. She coordinated school schedules, business demands, animal care, and family logistics with the precision of a seasoned executive. Murdoch has openly credited her with turning what could have been overwhelming into something sustainable. Her ability to separate emotion from decision-making balanced his tendency to internalize stress. Where he once carried everything alone, he now shared the load. That partnership also reshaped how he viewed success. Earlier in life, success meant...
You know, this rain can't dampen our spirits tonight.
Not with you here. Let's make the most of it.
He became more selective about commitments, turning down opportunities that disrupted family rhythm or conflicted with long-term goals. Wrestling appearances were chosen carefully. Media roles were evaluated not just for exposure, but for impact. That restraint surprised people who remembered his earlier hunger for momentum. But hunger had been replaced with clarity. He continued to speak about...
Listen, you have to understand that grind. It's not just about showing up, it's about pushing through every single day.
It was about stopping when necessary. It was about rest, reflection, and saying no. Those ideas resonated with audiences who were themselves burned out, overwhelmed, and tired of extremes. Murdoch didn't position himself as a guru. He spoke as someone who had learned late and paid dearly for delay. Ingrid's business philosophy mirrored that mindset. She emphasized consistency over intensity, habits over hacks. Clients were encouraged to build systems they could sustain, not routines
You can
that
see
collapsed
the
under pressure.
difference, man.
That realism
You can
attracted
see
a loyal
it.
following. It also reinforced the values inside. Their home progress didn't need to be loud. It needed to be repeatable. As years passed, the legal chapter became history rather than identity. The settlement faded from conversation. New viewers knew Murdoch only as the man they saw on screen, opinionated, humorous, blunt, but steady. Older viewers noticed the difference. The edges were still there, but they were no longer sharp in every direction. There was less defensiveness. More listening. Less reaction, more intention. The marriage itself remained deliberately understated, no lavish displays. No rebranding, no public reinvention. That choice confused some fans, but it made sense to those who understood his past. Spectacle had never protected him. Quiet consistency had. The relationship didn't exist to be admired. It existed to function. Looking across his life, the pattern becomes clear. Every turning point came from intervention, someone stepping in, recognizing potential, or offering structure when chaos threatened to consume him. Coaches, mentors.
So, what brings you all out here tonight?
Oh, we're just here to enjoy the festivities.
Each intervention required Murdoch to accept help, something that never came easily. Pride often stood in the way. Growth demanded surrender not of strength, but of isolation. What makes his story compelling is not redemption in the dramatic sense, but evolution. He didn't transform into someone else. He became more fully himself, stripped of survival armor that was no longer needed. The anger softened. The urgency slowed.
This is what it's all about, the NWA Championship.
It simply placed it in the past where it belonged. Today, the life he lives would have been unimaginable to the child he once was.
Welcome to the show, everyone. We're here live at the event, bringing you all the excitement and updates.
Work that he chooses, rather, than clings to. A child didn't dream of fame, he dreamed of safety. In that sense, Murdoch has already surpassed his greatest ambition. The public may continue to debate his career, his opinions, or his controversies. That noise no longer defines him. What defines him now are the quiet mornings, the structured chaos of family life, the animals waiting to be fed, and the woman who stood beside him when silence was louder than applause. No rushing, no shortcuts. Just a man who learned slowly and painfully how to build what he was never given and how to keep it.